Baseball is a very unique sport, and it's very much a generational sort of a thing. Fathers and grandfathers teach their sons to play and tell stories that become part of the legend and part of the history of baseball.
The people play because they love the game. They love the competition, they love the excitement, but it came as a result of people dreaming of something they could be.
The spirit was there and the competitive spirit was there. Crowds were usually 2,000 or 3,000 practically every game, more than that sometimes.
Just a great time and a great form of entertainment.
It kept me waiting for that next day for practice. It was a great thing to me.
I grew up during the war years, and we needed something to play with. You couldn't buy baseballs, you couldn't buy bats. I lived close to the ballpark. It was closed, of course, all the ball players are off in service. But each mill, the main process of the mill ended up right here. This is the loom weaving the cloth where they made their money. And we looked around in the trash pile for different things to make toys, but the only way we got baseballs and bats primarily was on looms. This right here is a picker stick. There's one on the other end. It threw the shuttle out and back. The shuttle went up and down to make a cloth. We would get those, they might be cracked, or we'd get a piece of flooring off the porch of the houses when they redone them, saw us off a handle, make us a bat. My mother was a battery filler who, when these got empty, she put a full one in. She'd bring us 4 or 5 of these, and we'd put a rock, or if we could get one of those rubber balls off the old rick rack, had a real good one. We'd wind it as tight as we could, put a little tape on it, take that picker stick, the other one on this side, and we'd play ball for a day or two until we tore it up and had to make us another one. Baseball was definitely a center point of a textile lint-head young man's livelihood as well as the rest of the community until about 1962 when the TV and you owned your own cars and mills sold the houses. But a loom and its parts was a very good source to get stuff to play with.
Baseball became a very popular sport early on. Just about from the very beginning of each of the mill villages, a baseball team was established, and some of the mill teams even had what they call an A team and a B team. But the baseball part became the center of the social activities for a good number of the communities. A lot of times people who didn't grow up in the mill village didn't realize that our lives evolved around the mill, but also our, what you might say, social life or athletic life evolved around sports such as basketball and baseball. But the baseball was the very center of our social life, you might say, on a mill village.
Baseball is something that, well, I had never found anything takes place of it because it's always been something that enthused me. And Inman Mills started playing textile baseball, and I started playing with them, and I played all through the heyday of 1947, 48, 49, 50, and then it all sort of settled down, the heyday of it. I remember when I was a kid, I heard my mama call me to come out and eat, and I didn't want to leave that ball field. Now, I wasn't any good. I was so big, and I couldn't run fast, and I couldn't hit, and I couldn't throw, but I loved to play the game, so that's what it meant to me. It just was the best thing that ever happened to me, just being around textile baseball.
Pride. You were proud you were a textile player because it meant you were good. And boy, I tell you, these teams were good. I mean, any team you wanted to play was good. And and they had major league stars and stuff like that. And we learned that they put on their suit just like we do. But a guy that played in textile baseball was kind of a hero. And those were great memories.
But textile baseball was really what made it all. But it's not here now, but I wished it was, but it isn't.
Textile baseball in the mill villages early on in the 1900s was mostly the only form of entertainment that the people had. They worked long hours, usually 5 days, 10 hours a day, and then a half a day on Saturday. And normally on the Saturday afternoon would be the ball games would be held, and it was always looked forward to. And we found out from some of our oral interviews that even the ladies that grew up at that time were avid sports fans and attended these ball games, and it was just something they always looked forward to. And it was just like a festive occasion with the band playing, and all of the people would dress up, the ladies would dress up, and it was just like a festive fair atmosphere. I can remember going as a little lad myself, watching some of the ball games, and baseball was king as far as entertainment and sports back early on in the mill villages.
I played at Brandon, as I said, with the American Legion at 13 years of age. Then I joined a B team at Brandon. Played with them, and then I moved up to the A team, and golly, what an experience I had. My first game, first night game too, we went to Pelzer and they put me in there, and of course I wasn't a bit nervous. I just had one foot in the batter's box and one in the dugout, and met this big pitcher down at Pelzer that I had watched ever since I was a little bitty fella. I got up there and scared half to death, and first pitch he threw right in my head, went all the way back. And those of you that are familiar with the Pelzer Park, you know the grandstands are way back from home plate. That ball went on the line and hit the grandstand back there and popped. And of course, that kind of shook me up a little bit, but I stayed in there with it and finished the game. We beat Pelzer that day, and from then on I played with the A team at Brandon.